Have you ever felt powerless? I remember walking out of the US Embassy in London, having been told that our visa was denied on grounds that made absolutely no sense. We were told there was no chance of appeal. Our whole life in Gig Harbor felt like it had been stripped away in that moment. That one person with whom we spoke in the embassy had the power to turn our world upside down, while we were powerless. Welcome to the third of our Good Friday prayer times. All through this day, we will journey with Jesus in his final moments through the lens of John's Gospel. Up to now, Jesus has been arrested, taken to the religious authorities, and at this point, he is handed over to the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Pilate represented the Roman king, Caesar, and Pilate had the power to both set Jesus free or to crucify him. Yet, as becomes clear when we listen to this passage, Jesus' power extends far beyond that of Pilate or of Caesar. Jesus is the King of Kings.
So Pilate entered his headquarters again and called Jesus and said to him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "Do you say this of your own accord, or did others say it to you about me?" Pilate answered, "Am I a Jew? Your own nation and the chief priests have delivered you over to me. What have you done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would have been fighting, that I might not be delivered over to the Jews. But my kingdom is not from the world." Then Pilate said to him, "So you are a king?" Jesus answered, "You say that I am a king. For this purpose I was born, and for this purpose I have come into the world, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice." Pilate said to him, "What is truth?" After he had said this, he went back outside of the Jews and told them, "I find no guilt in him. But you have a custom that I should release one man for you at the Passover. So do you want me to release to you the King of the Jews?" They cried out again, "Not this man, but Barabbas." Now Barabbas was a robber. Then Pilate took Jesus and flogged him. And the soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and put it on his head and arrayed him in a purple robe. They came up to him saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" and struck him with their hands. Pilate went out again and said to them, "See, I am bringing him out to you that you may know that I find no guilt in him." So Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. Pilate said to them, "Behold the man." When the chief priests and the officers saw him, they cried out, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate said to them, "Take him yourselves and crucify him, for I find no guilt in him." The Jews answered him, "We have a law, and according to that law he ought to die, because he has made himself the Son of God." When Pilate heard this statement, he was even more afraid. He entered his headquarters again and said to Jesus, "Where are you from?" But Jesus gave him no answer. So Pilate said to him, "You will not speak to me? Do you not know that I have authority to release you and authority to crucify you?" Jesus answered him, "You would have no authority over me at all, unless it had been given you from above. Therefore he who delivered me over to you has the greater sin." From then on, Pilate sought to release him, but the Jews cried out, "If you release this man, you are not Caesar's friend. Everyone who makes himself a king opposes Caesar." So when Pilate heard these words, he brought Jesus out and sat down on the judgment seat at a place called the Stone Pavement, and in Aramaic, Gabbatha. Now it was the day of preparation of the Passover. It was about the 6th hour. He said to the Jews, "Behold your king." They cried out, "Away with him! Away with him! Crucify him!" Pilate said to them, "Shall I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king but Caesar." So he delivered him over to them to be crucified.
Jesus is mocked and ultimately will be crucified on the charge of being the King of the Jews. And yet, as he says at the beginning of this passage, his kingdom is not of this world, but is far greater. Jesus is the King of Kings, who has an eternal kingdom that cannot be shaken. Perhaps there is an area of your life where you feel powerless right now. Perhaps it is in relation to a member of your family, or to your workplace, or to the government. Whatever lack of power you might feel you have, remember that Jesus holds ultimate power. Whatever is going on, he is seated on the throne. Let's turn now in prayer to the King of Kings. Eternal King Jesus, we come before you today and acknowledge your rightful place as the King above all other kings. You rule and reign supreme over every power, authority, and dominion. Yet so often we feel like the powers around us are the ones in control. Lord, we take a moment to bring before you those areas of our life and our world where we feel powerless. Lord, show us your power. Show us your glory. May your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory now and forever. Amen.